Can we properly see that I'm a Clipper fan? Way too tired. It's only 3:30, and but today's video, the reason why we're here is to talk about how to pick the right team for you for MyGM. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into play, like what team is your local team? Is it you want to take a winning team and continue on, or a losing team and try to change them around? A lot of stakes involved because this is the team you're going to stick with through hopefully multiple seasons, ideally through 5, I would say, even if you get into that sim stage later. But yeah, we'll just jump right into it, talk about kind of the psychology between picking different teams, what that means for you, and what you should think about when you're grabbing your team. So to start off, I think it's a good place to talk about the Warriors.
Not winning that tip.
You have 99s across the board, 3 players that are 90 plus, 2 of the 5 best players in the game, and the 2 greatest shooters of all time. Maybe you're the type of 2K MyGM player that wants to pilot this team and continue on, and there's some legitimacy to that. If you like taking a winning team, you do have some conflict there. You got to deal with how Klay Thompson's contract's going to run out. Maybe he doesn't want to be the 3rd option for your team anymore and wants to go find his own footing somewhere else. Or there's some other interesting options on that route, like the Spurs. 98, 99, 98. You have Kawhi, who's another top 5 player in the league. You've got LaMarcus Aldridge, who hasn't worked out great in real life, but in video game land is exceptional. And some older players that you know you're going to have to replace, so you get that feeling of taking a winning team further and siphoning out their roster a little bit. The Rockets, you're probably not going to touch this team unless you're planning on immediately grabbing Carmelo. But again, with those top 3 teams, your motions are largely set. It's probably more about you as a player enjoying what's already set up there and trying to win championships. Now on the other side of it, you can take a losing team and bring them to the top.
Oh really? Oh really?
The Kings, who don't have a single team rating in the 80s, they're best players in 82, but they do have some interesting young talent in De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Willie Cauley-Stein. Do they have a franchise guy? Maybe, maybe not. I think these 2 teams are going to get played a lot in MyGM, and that's why I'm not picking either of them, because I think a lot of people on YouTube are going to use these. Obviously with the Knicks, you have Unicorn himself, Porzingis, and you're going to trade Carmelo. I think most people are going to be unrealistic and trade him wherever they want, even though he's got the no trade clause and he's really only going to the Houston Rockets. And of course, Lonzo Ball.
He better than Steph Curry to me.
Lonzo should be #1 because he's the only player in the draft.
If you've played with him, he's a little OP in the game to start. He doesn't seem to miss, and his height allows him to kind of do whatever he wants at that one spot. But I wanted to do something different. So for me, let's talk about, for my personal style, what I'm looking for. 1, a budding star player. Someone that I can build a franchise around. I think it's less fun to draft random rookies that are developed in draft classes. I want to use a real-life player and build around them. 2, play style is very, very important. I really enjoy teams that have a lot of versatility. Let's say the Bucks, where everyone can play different positions. You could throw out a lot of different lineups, some specialists in there. A final one that's maybe different for me than other people is branding. I'm not looking for a team that recently updated their branding, because I like to change the entire image of the team or make slight tweaks to modernize the jerseys. I referenced the Bucks already. I love their new rebrand. And I'm not going to take the T-Wolves, who I really love their new team and I adore their new jerseys, but I want to put my stamp on it. So for me, it did really come down to a couple of teams. One being who we've been looking at this whole time, and spoilers, the Mavericks. I like their young talent a lot, specifically Dennis Smith Jr. So this guy, if you've seen the Summer League highlights, was a total monster.
Magic Johnson courtside. Smith punches out of his seat.
Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Okay, check out these diamonds. He can do everything. He's 19 years old. You've also got Harrison Barnes, former Warrior, had a great year last year. And I actually do like Nerlens Noel. I think he's much better defensively and rebounding on pick and roll than he's given credit for. And he's one of those players who maybe is better in 2K than he is in real life. Another team I really liked and looked at was the Nets.
Got a phone? Trust me.
I'm a big D'Angelo Russell fan. I love guards who have the stutter step game and can kind of do off-speed things. He's very tall, and I think Allen Crabbe's a great backcourt mate for him, as well as a lot of experimental pieces here like DeMar Carroll, Hollis Jefferson. Those guys can run the 3 or the 4. Another team who I ultimately decided against taking because I was really excited about the one that I did lock in on, which is, let's go ahead and scroll to them, the Phoenix Suns.
It's Butler! Devin Butler! At the buzzer!
So again, I talked about having a young star player or a budding star. Devin Booker is exactly that. He's a 6'6" shooting guard. He's an 85 overall and 20 years old. He's got another year on his rookie deal, and he can score from pretty much anywhere. Basically a guaranteed all-star coming up. You also have Eric Bledsoe, a former Clipper. I really like the player. I don't think he's the right backcourt mate for Devin Booker, so it allows me that piece to make an immediate move, whether that's for more draft picks or for another player to try to squeak in the playoffs. We've also got some of their new players like Josh Jackson, who I was personally not very high on for like a 4-5 type of pick, but if he's playing the small forward and power forward, running the floor, getting boards, and playing a lot of defense, I think he could be great. I think he's at best a third option on a championship team. Marquise Chris, Tyson Chandler, Tyler Ulis is super fun. It's really hard to play with him at 5'10", but you got all those Kentucky guys, as well as some other vets, some other young guys. And again, a team whose historical branding I really enjoyed, and whose new jerseys I think are very bland and lacking. So I can use a combination of what they've worn before and then new things I might create. I'm going to start my new GM with the Suns. I'm really excited about this. I think we'll have a lot of fun short-term things and long-term objectives as these players develop. So that's it. Hopefully you're thinking more now about what type of team you want to build if you play MyGM, what type of team is right for you, and finding yourself sticking with those teams for longer because you've thought about this. Now, obviously this is YouTube, so please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'm going to take this team as far as possible, and I have a couple other really cool MyGM type things planned, as well as Pro-Am content. That's all coming. So, thank you.
Thank you. The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving.